to England. What you seek is perilous. Sometimes it is better not to know the truth. The truth is a very, very dangerous thing." Burton laughed. "You cannot deter me with the stories of curses that you Egyptians love to scare foreigners with. I have been many dangerous places, and I have stared death in the face. I will not blink now. I am on the Turcotte," Burton continued. The word he spoke in Arabic translated as the spiritual path leading to the truth, which normally meant the truth of God. But Burton wasn't certain where his Turcotte was going. He reached into his shirt and pulled out a circular medallion that hung on a chain around his neck. On the surface of the metal, an eye was emblazoned over the apex of a pyramid. Kaji's gnarled fingers ran across the surface of the medallion. "Where did you get this?" "In Medina, from a man named Abdu al-Iblis." Kaji stiffened. "You are one of his disciples?" Burton shook his head. "No, I spoke with him one time. A most strange person. He gave me this." "Did you get anything else from him? A key?" "What kind of key?" "If you had it, you would know." Kaji remained still for several minutes, Burton waiting on him. Finally, the Arab's shoulders slumped ever so slightly. "I see it is to be our fate. I will take you inside. What you seek is below us." "The Hall of Records?" "Yes." Burton looked around. "Through the sand." "There are other ways to go where you seek," Kaji said. He pointed at the Great Pyramid. "We must go there." He began walking around the Sphinx's head. It appeared to Burton that the middle pyramid was the highest, but he knew that was a trick of the lay of the plateau of Giza. The one farthest to the northeast, where they were headed, was the tallest and most massive. Burton hurried to keep up. Like Kaji, he wore the long robes of the people of the desert. Richard Francis Burton was a strange man, and it was no accident that he had ended up here in Egypt, searching out mysteries told of in legends and written of on decaying parchments. Born in England in 1821, he'd briefly attended Oxford, where he'd been the only student at the time to study Arabic. Disgusted with the closed minds at the school, he left after 2 years and joined the military. In 1842, he was posted to India, where he promptly began studying Hindustani, then Persian. Because of his linguistic talents and desire for adventure, he became a spy for the British Army, scouting along the borders of the English Empire in that part of the world. During one of those missions, he became seriously ill with cholera. Given 2 years of sick leave, he used that time to become a master Sufi, one who studied and searched for a universal truth in connection with God. He was the only non-Muslim to travel to both Mecca and Medina, disguising himself as one of the faithful, his dark skin and language abilities allowing him to pose as a Persian trader. He had seen the Kaaba, the heart of Islam, which none outside the faith were to see and be allowed to live. From Arabia, he went to Africa, hoping to start an expedition to discover the mythical source of the Nile. Because of his proficiency in languages and his willingness to go into the native areas and listen, he heard many whispers and late-night stories told in a drunken stupor, finding it difficult to separate fact from fiction. It was in Mecca that he had first read of ancient secrets hidden on the Giza Plateau. Another man, said to be a master Sufi also, Abdu al-Iblis, had found him. How, Burton knew not, and directed him onward to the African continent and given him the medallion, telling him to use it to gain help on his path. Al-Iblis's only request was that Burton return to Mecca and tell him what he had discovered. Burton did not trust Al-Iblis. He sensed evil from the man, and Kaji's reaction indicated his instincts were correct. But Burton had long before realized that his path would often brush up against such people, and if he was to pursue his goal of the truth, he would have to use them also. What had piqued Burton's interest were the stories of the mythical Hall of Records, hidden somewhere in the ancient complex of structures built on the Giza Plateau outside of Cairo. The hall was said to contain the truth, although what exactly was meant by that, Burton had no idea. To some it meant religious truth, which of the many gods man worshipped around the world was the one true God, and to others it was the truth of the antediluvian world, the story of Atlantis and man's roots, of great civilizations before recorded history. Regardless, Burton was determined to discover it. After his camp near Berbera was attacked by Somali bandits and he suffered his grievous wound from a spear thrust through his jaw, Burton was forced to postpone his search for the source of the Nile. On his way back to England to recuperate, he had stopped at Giza to explore this mystery before boarding the steamer. His persistent questioning had led him to Kaji, an old Egyptian he'd found huddled in a hut on the edge of the plateau. As near as Burton could